Alright, we're going to take a look and talk about, of course, the all-time Chicago Bears team, a franchise that's been around for a long time. They were established on September 17th, 1920, 97 years ago, and their first ever season was in 1920. They play in Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois, and they're headquartered in Hallis Hall in Lake Forest, Illinois. Very, very, very old franchise. Now, they were in this independent league in 1919, moved to the National Football League, and have been in the National Football League since 1920. They were in the Western Division from 1933 to 1949, moved to the National Conference from 1950 to 1952, then to the Western Conference from 1953 to 1969, which they were in the Central Division from 1967 to 1969, moved to the NFC in 1970, went to the Central Division from 1970 to 2001, and then have been in the NFC North since 2002. Their team colors are dark navy blue, orange, and white. Their fight songs are Bear Down, Chicago Bears. The mascot, Staley the Bear. The owner is Virginia Hallis McCaskey. The chairman is George McCaskey. The president is Ted Phillips. The general manager is Ryan Pace, and the head coach is John Fox. They were the Decatur Staleys from 1919 to 1920, changed to the Chicago Staleys in 1921, and have been the Chicago Bears since 1922. The nicknames, they were the Bears. They were also the Monsters of the Midway, which they were in the 80s. They have won 9 league championships, pretty much pre-Super Bowl era, 8 NFL championships total, 1921, 1932, 1933, 1940, 1941, 1943, 1946, and 1963. Now, when it was Super Bowl time, they won one in 1985 in Super Bowl 20. Beat down the New England Patriots. That defense was scary. They won 4 conference titles in the NFL Western in 1956 and 1963. And the NFC, they won it in 1985 and 2006. They won the Super Bowl, and they lost the Super Bowl in 2006 to the Indianapolis Colts, if any of you watched that Super Bowl at all. They have won the division title 18 times. In the NFL Western, they won it in 1933, 1934, 1937, 1940, all the way to 1943 and 1946. In the NFC Central, they won it in 1984, all the way to 1988, the 1990 and 2001. And the NFC North, they've won it 3 times, 2005, 2006, and 2010. Now, they've been in the playoffs 26 times, in 1932 to 1934, 1937, 1940 to 1943, 1946, 1950, 1956, 1963, 1977, 1979, 1984 to 1988, 1990, 1991, 1994, 2001, 2005, 2006, and 2010. Home fields, they've been at Staley Field from 1919 to 1920. They were in Wrigley Field from 1921 to 1970. They moved to Soldier Field from 1971 to 2001, went to Memorial Stadium in 2002, and have been in Soldier Field ever since in 2003. Now, pretty much, I mean, they've had many presidents, they had many owners. They have a long history. Just letting you know that right now. They have had many, many history. Just the players coming through, ownership, coaches, everything. Like their history goes way back. So, yeah, they are a franchise that's, like this year, they're out of the playoffs, unfortunately. Who knows when they'll get back. They still need to get their team up in the up again. I mean, they really do want to still become relevant, of course. And people that are Bears fans, what I've noticed is Chicago is a very loyal place. Like they will continuously be fans for all time. It seems like at times, just a lot of patience. I know they're probably frustrated. They haven't won the Super Bowl since 1985. Even reaching in 2006, they didn't win it. So for them, they have expectations. This town is a city of champions. They have had some sport teams win championships, recently. So I would say Chicago, they're dying for one. But this is a Bears franchise. I do believe in them. They've been there before. Long history. And I think they'll probably add to some history in the future. You never know. All right, now to start out the QB, there's been some QBs that roll through, of course. I just feel like at a time there was a guy in Jim McMahon that was actually pretty great at what he did, um, especially at a time where Walter Payton ruled Chicago in a way. Like he was almost like Jesus for them, you know? Like that guy literally was worshipped. And I think Jim McMahon was at the right place at the right time. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't the best QB you've ever seen in your life. But man, he was pretty good. He was a guy that actually, you know, at the same time, you know, can play. Also, you know, was a character. This guy was a character. Just a maniac. It's a kind of unfortunate about all of his injuries and all of his concussions that, you know, he might have a possible CTE diagnosis. If you don't know what CTE is, it's a really bad disease where players just start, you know, they get brain damage, and it's not great. It's just not a great road. I'm not going to get too specific with it. It's not a great place to be. It really isn't. But Jim McMahon, I think he deserves the credit of being the starting QB. Honestly, in my honest opinion, I don't really see any other dude that really gave him any value in terms of look where he took them. You know, the defense took them places, obviously, right? Walter Payton did fantastic, but I think Jim McMahon did his part, and the fact that he was a Pro Bowler, he won 2 Super Bowl championships. If you guys did not know about that, he won with Green Bay, but he was not officially a star there. Brett Favre was, but this is a guy that's crazy. He's got great personality, and he can play football. You know, honestly, he can play football, and he's not a bad runner. You know, he can bounce to the other side, get a few rushes, and you know he's a great passer. I just feel like he'll do pretty good things. I really do. He's a tough nosed guy. I think he'll do great things, and so I would say yes. I would like to see him at the QB spot. All right, now one thing I know about Chicago is this Bears organization is they're incredible. You know, with that running back spot. Now, obviously, like having Jim McMahon will definitely give you some. There'll definitely be some controversy, but I mean, where am I gonna look? Am I gonna put what? Jay Cutler? Like what? Jay Cutler, Jim Harbaugh? You know, that's the type of QBs that were there. I mean, they didn't really have, you know, like Rex Grossman. They didn't really have, from just looking at it, they didn't really have many fantastically gifted QBs. Jim McMahon, in my opinion, has his own category. He's the one that led Chicago to their 1-0 Super Bowl, so I think they give him some credit. Anyway, enough about him. Definitely not giving my respect to Matt Forte, fullback. He will be the fullback because there's going to be 2 back set. Matt Forte, he's got the ability of not only running the ball, he's a fantastic pass catcher. In my opinion, he is a future Hall of Famer. I hope he becomes a Hall of Famer. I think he should have that respect due of, I would say, putting his number up in Chicago for what he's done all these years. Just a grinding guy, you know, a 2-time Pro Bowler. Even though a 2-time Pro Bowler doesn't give him enough respect, this guy is a guy that's rushed for 1,000 yards multiple seasons. It's a guy that's caught, you know, over like at most like 102 passes. You know, this is a guy that can run it and he can catch it and he can hurt you on both sides. And I think he's a great blocker. He's just an all-around teammate. He's an all-around football player, and I would love to see him in Canton someday. I think he deserves that honor. And having him in that fullback position, yeah, I think that's a great thing because the other running back is one of the greatest running backs of all time. Obviously, that is debatable, but I think I like this guy. Now, on top of having Matt Forte, fantastic running back, future Hall of Famer. How about having running back Hall of Famer Walter Payton, one of the best running backs of all time? Definitely one of the best of all time. Sweetness, as they called him. Well, he's done it all. He's an MVP, Super Bowl champion, 5-time All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowler, a Hall of Famer. This is a guy he's done it. He's had his fair share of just fantastic games. The unfortunate part is, you know, everyone will know when he did have when he was in the Super Bowl, he really didn't get the ball much, and for some people, with him and with his side, it's like, wow, that was unfair. Like, why'd you do that? But I mean, you're looking at a guy he's won the AP Offensive Player of the Year. He's won his the Man of the Year before it was Walter Payton Man of the Year. He's been on the All 1970s team. He's been on the All 1980s team. This guy's been around. This guy's done his part in many, many ways for the game. This guy has, well, the second most rushing yards ever. And I think that's going to be kind of hard to break Emmett's, but it's also going to be hard to even get to, really to get to Walter Payton's record. Let's be honest here. Walter Payton rushed for 16,726 rushing yards. It's a lot. It's a lot in a 12-year career. Like, at the age of 33 when he ended it, that was how much, like, he dominated the sport. Hard-working man, and having Matt Forte and Walter Payton, two hard-working dudes, that's gonna pay a lot. All right, now at the wide receiver position, what I noticed from the wide receivers for Chicago, just as a preview here, they're not bad. They're really not bad. It's just they're not as fantastic, right? I think Chicago's mostly going to rely on the running game. From what you see, Matt Forte, Walter Payton will definitely be more of a, they'll be a focal point for a lot of the all-time defenses, which is, could be a problem for the offense. But, when there is a need of a passing attack, I think Johnny Morris will do pretty good. I mean, he has accumulated in the past 92 receptions, 1,200 receiving yards, and 10 touchdowns in 1 year. Like, that was a great year. That was his best year of his career. So he has the capability of, being a big playmaker. And I think he'll do good. And his partner on the other side isn't too bad neither. And the other guy on the other side is going to be Alshon Jeffrey, wide receiver. He's a one-time Pro Bowler. He's a big dude. He's done some good. He's done a great job out there in Philly right now, as a part of the Philadelphia Eagles. But his first 5 years of his career was a part of the Chicago Bears. He accumulated 304 receptions, which is almost the entire total of Johnny Morris's career overall. So, he's definitely going to be more of a targeted guy, I would say, than Johnny Morris. But, different era, different way of playing, different speed, obviously, right? Different statistics. But Alshon Jeffrey, I think, he's going to do just fine. I think he's definitely going to thrive. He's got the ability of being a very big target. So I would say the passing attack is not going to be terrible, and especially because what I've noticed, continuous pattern of the Chicago Bears, tough-nosed guys. And in my opinion, I think nothing is tougher than Mike Ditka. Mike Ditka, Iron Mike, the Doctor, MD, whatever you want to call him. He's a Hall of Fame tight end. He's a 5-time Pro Bowl. He's a 2-time All-Pro. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's an NFL champion. And this is a guy that's, he's had his fair share of just phenomenal times. Playing 6 years in Chicago, playing 4 years in Dallas, playing 2 years in Philly. It's a guy that he has his fair share of moments, as a tight end, accumulating 316 receptions, over 4,000 receiving yards, 34 touchdowns, and a very big power guy. Like, honestly, you don't want to mess with Mike Ditka. When his playing days were there, yeah, you don't want to mess with him. He was a fantastic tight end. He did it all, and then some. Just because, like I said, he was a tough nose, like true tight end kind of guy. Like really, he's gonna block for you. If he's gonna block for you, he's gonna block for you. So, yeah, I think that should give not just Walter Payton and Matt Forte some confidence. Going to give all the other players around him confidence that we got another tough-nosed guy that's going to continuously fight for us. All right, now starting off this left tackle, it's Keith Van Horn, aka Horn, Super Bowl champion from the '85 team, of course. A guy that was very reliable, a guy that played 186 games, started 169 of them. A guy that's very, very valuable. Didn't even get a Pro Bowl, nothing. To me, that's fascinating. But yeah, this is a big dude. This is a big time guy. That I think I think he'll be able to really inspire the other guys. I think he'll do a good job. So yeah, Keith Van Horn. Now left guard position, it's gonna be Jay Hilgenberg. His nickname was Hilgy. guy that played center and guard, but I think he'll definitely thrive at the left guard position. Played in 188 games. He started in 152. Guy that's a part of the Super Bowl champion of the 1985 Bears. So again, he's pretty used to blocking for Walter, blocking for Jim. So that will work super well. He's a 7-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, Super Bowl champion. So he's definitely had a lot more of a respected factor than him than Van Horn. But I think both of them, they're big dudes. They're nothing to mess with, and they're ready. They're ready to fight. Now center is going to be Olin Kreutz. The center Olin Kreutz, 6-time Pro Bowler. He's an All-Pro. Played for New Orleans his last year in 2011. But this is a guy that's had a pretty good from 2003 to 2010. He just never missed a game. Never missed a start. It was fantastic. No, this is a guy that started 183 games and he played in 191 of them. So overall, Olin Kreutz, reliable guy, reliable center. I think he's going to do some great things, and yeah, I think this line is going to be, I would say, pretty scary. They are scary individuals. They're not afraid easily. All right, now the right guard is going to be Roberto Garza. Roberto Garza never really got his respect, I would say, honestly. Playing 10 years in Chicago, 4 years in Atlanta, never got a Pro Bowl, never got anything. Just another guy that was just very valuable that just didn't. Played 206 games, started in 176, and never got the respect he was due. So, in my opinion, that's another chip on their shoulder. I think Roberto Garza would do pretty well, actually, in this line. I definitely think he'll excel, and him and Hilgenberg, I think they'll do some great things. All right, now the right tackle, Mark Bortz. He was also a guard. His nickname was Bortzilla. This guy was 6'6". This guy was huge, almost 300 pounds. 2-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion with none other than the Chicago Bears. Yeah, it was just very, very successful at what he did. You know, like I said, he's been to the Pro Bowl. He's been to the big game. He definitely knows what he's doing. I definitely believe in this line. I think this line will do some great things together. So it's all up to see how they all do together. But I do believe that they will get it done.